This is Kathy Chase. The pain in my shoulders, the burning, and the drilling feeling, like they're drilling into my collarbone. My collarbones on both sides. Or it feels like somebody's squeezing my shoulders really, really hard. Has been really bad tonight. I was going to go to bed, but when I start to relax, whoever's doing it abuses me more. And when I try to relax, I get abused more. They initiated the pacemaker once, about an hour ago, when I was laying down. I'm just trying to relax because I didn't really want to go out tonight. I feel pretty scared right now. So I started writing more. Where to start? This whole pits process, fire pits, and the torture to my body, torches, Olympic torches, Statue of Liberty. The Statue of Liberty was a gift from France. France is, I think, one in the top 3 leaders of wine makers in the world. That's why they've initiated, like, the top 5 countries who produce wine. We're one of them. Spain's another one, and then France and so forth. Notes. I got a lot of them. I don't really know where to start. You know how the wall thing that they were trying to do or whatever here, you know how they mount deer or antelope heads on walls. You know, they have antlers. Humpty Dumpty, you know, dump. Garbage. You know, I stepped on a glass beer bottle. Humpty Dumpty sat on a wall. Humpty Dumpty, you know, they couldn't, my head's not a crown. They couldn't, you know, put Humpty Dumpty back together again or whatever. He broke his crown. Humpty Dumpty broke his crown. A crown is something that a queen or a king wears, right? Okay. And a crown is another name for a head or a skull. You know, skull and crossbones and pirates and all this other stuff. I've got so many notes, and I just have to, I guess I just got to keep talking because there's nothing else I can really do. I'd like to get out of the country at this time, but I can't because I've got a pacemaker in my chest. You know, I found my notes where I was going to start. The Liberty Bell has a crack in it. Okay, Humpty Dumpty broke his crown and that sort of thing. Statue of Liberty, gift from France. You know, they have the Eiffel Tower. Those are 2 big things that and then the wine. You know, I guess that's a huge thing. As far as when I think of France and their art, of course. The Statue of Liberty has her arm up, and I remember doing the weekly reader back in elementary school, and they did some work on the Statue of Liberty to clean the Statue of Liberty, acid rain. I'm in pain right now. The torch, she raises her hand as if you do in school when you ask a question. Okay, like that, you know what I'm saying? You have school bells, okay? You've got the Liberty Bell, and you've got Graham Bell, the phone, okay? You've got phone books. You've got the yellow pages, which is business, bees knees and corruption. Yellow and black. Yellow and black, also the color of Southeast High School. And red and black, the color of Lincoln High School. Okay, high school, Lincoln High School. Red, black, and yellow, those three colors are pretty typical colors in electrical wires and has nothing to do with me. As I said, yellow pages, bees knees is another name for corruption. Will you kneel when you pray, or you kneel when you propose to somebody? Courting, you court, like a courtship, is an old-fashioned term for dating. Let your fingers do the walking. You used to, with phones, you used to dial. They used to dial like a rotate. It would spin. I don't. Younger people might not know this. Okay, so I'm explaining this. Replaced by push button. Of course, that has nothing to do with me. My foot does not make me a phone. Okay, Maxwell Smart, Maxwell Silverhammer, the Beatles, Coffee and Joe. This is very important. The Maxie School, as I talked about, 75th and Forbes. There is a well, okay? There's a well across the street on High. This is very important, and people need to note this because this is a huge piece of evidence. I don't know how old it is, but there's a well across the street, and it looks like a wishing well. As I said, Maxwell is a coffee, and coffee, another name for coffee is Joe, like a cup of Joe. Wishing wells, you typically throw change in them to make a wish, right? You have the Make-A-Wish Foundation for the terminally ill people. I'm not terminally ill because they put RFID in my body that makes me like a big hub for terminal communications. These people are really confused, obviously. The thinking that this is extremely crazy. I talk one other thing I want to go back to real quick. Olympic torches, the Statue of Liberty, eternal flame on important people's graves. Okay, those are things to note. There might be people with the last name Graves as well. The whole thing with fire pits and armpits. Everybody has seen the NHI evidence of my daughter's armpit surgery in paper, on the web. I've showed that evidence. It was done on tax day, April 15th. If you look at that piece of paper, it's very important. Okay, she had evidently they were using the RFID to make her armpits really bad because Rob used to have the same problem. I didn't think nothing of it at the time, but they put more RFID in her body when they did that, obviously. NHI, I don't know why they sent her to NHI, Nebraska Heart Institute. It's on 91st Street. 91st Street, when you go like 2 blocks down, you enter into Cheney, Nebraska. Cheney, Nebraska is a very old town. As I talked about the fire being on Old Cheney Road, 27th and Old Cheney. It's an old town, and it's in the shape of a corner, okay? The streets are important to note, and landmarks and stuff. There's an old grain elevator with the checker marks, the checkered. If you live in the Midwest or in rural areas, on grain elevators, you'll have the checkers I don't know, I can't remember the companies that all have that, but they have that. As I was talking about the bee's knees and the corruption and proposals and praying, okay, when you kneel, you beg for mercy, like I'm trying to do, I'm trying to get help. Mercedes-Benz has a peace sign. Mercy is a French word. Anyways, typically, how they thought they were gonna try to have some sort of fake proposal with me and then try to cover up my life. Well, this is very important. You know what you throw at weddings. You throw rice at weddings. And okay, you know where the rice comes from? Or the rice as this, RFIDs in the size of rice, okay? And it can be removed by the body. And other countries think the United States is pretty nuts right now. They think they're crazy. I'm sure of it because I've looked at other websites. Anyways, the two things in which, when you think of mud, what do you think of? You think of pigs. They like mud. Pigs like mud. If you know anything about farms or anything like that, pigs cool off in the summer by laying in mud, okay? As I said, my grandfather was named Wilbur, and then the Wilbur, the words and the web and all that other stuff, okay? Anyway, you think of, and then the other thing, what grows in mud? Rice fields and pigs. Two associations with mud. There's only one other thing that I can think of is four-wheeling. Mud. What else? Mud pies. There's really not a whole lot else, right? And as I said, what do you throw at weddings? You throw rice. These people, because of my foot, stepping on a piece of broken glass when the other kids were playing around the trash can, kids will be kids. The girls, as I said, were all tomboys in the neighborhood. And the boys were digging in the trash, and I was outside of the trash area, and it was a broken beer bottle, which I had stepped on. It was brown. Okay, everybody has seen my birth certificate. Okay, born on the 20th. Okay. 2020 is a TV show, but I didn't even think about that until just now. 2020 is perfect vision. Okay? When you see 2020, how is it written down? It's written down 20/20, right? Okay. Whatever. Anyways, the slash mark is the question mark on keyboards. But beyond that, 200 is Abe. 200 advance to go, collect $200. $20 bill is Jack and Son, Jackson, the Jackson bill, with the White House on the other side. And the Washington, D.C. area code is 202, which you have the 20 forward and the 20 backwards. 420, the international pot smoking time, in relation to their crazy, trippy, psychedelic crap with the mushrooms on the countertops, was way before I was born in the 60s. Jackson, as I was talking about the $20 bill, Jack and Jill went up the hill to fetch a pail of water, or there's lots of Jack references. Blackjack's the biggest one, the 21. Okay, and I'll get into more about that. My marriage certificate is missing, but you can see Rob's birth date is the 12th. He's one of the 12s backwards. Okay, Jackson backwards is, I don't know if this is all that important, but NOS is a type of gas, I believe, and it's used for race cars, okay, and race cars and airplanes. It's hot octane. There's your octane, OCT, you know, oct, eight sides, stop signs, and so forth. Octopussy was a James Bond film, and octagons. There's been several of them. October is the 10th month. And then, you know how he was born on Lincoln, Rob was born on Abe Lincoln's birthday, and was just recently the 200th, you know, anniversary of Abe Lincoln or whatever. And 10 County is Columbus. You know, Columbus, they thought was one of the first people to come to America or whatever. And they thought the world was flat and all this other stuff, you know. Christopher Columbus, kind of relevant, you know, Thanksgiving, things associated with Thanksgiving, and so forth. You know, the Pilgrims and the Indians, and then the arrowheads made of rocks, and so forth. Broken Bow is along Interstate 80, around the world in 80 days, is a Jules Verne book. It's very old. Said that before. 80 Interstate 80 runs around along the Platte River. And then I told you about, you know, they think I'm square because octagons are 8-sided, and the fact that I had my stitches in my foot, there were 7 of them from what I remember, 7 stitches in my foot, on the ball of my foot. I've tried to show people the scar, but, you know, it's hard to show up. It's old. It's an old scar. But it's there. You can still see it. If, you know, if I, you know, put lotion on my foot, you can see it better. It's on the ball of my foot by my toes. Well, these people associate pigs' toes and pigs and ham radio and all this other stuff with RFID in my foot, on the ball of my foot, and so forth. As people know, footballs were made of pigskin, but prior to being made with plastic. Pigskin, I don't know, that's just how they were made, I guess. I don't know why. This is very important. When you think of football and the scores in football, you have 7 points, 3 points. Well, I was born in 73, Southeast High School on 37th Street, okay? You got 7 points, okay, and 3 points for field goal. Okay, but if you make a touchdown, you get 6 points, and the extra point is 1. So there's a 16 there. There's a 1 and a 6 there. The other points you can make is 7, 3, 2, 1, 6. And you can figure it out if you know football. The 6 plus the 1 extra point. The other is there's 2-point conversion, diversion, divorce, the div 5, and you know, they're trying to commit my murder. 2-point conversion, conversion, okay, diversion, theft, and identity theft, and they're manipulating. I'm surrounded by this big, huge wall of money, and which is extremely dangerous. I have no idea what they're doing. These people are insane. The corruption is high as high can be, and the amount of money made off my life is probably in the trillions and trillions of dollars because it's gone on for so many years. As I said, directly and indirectly. You know, it's kind of hard to explain, but directly and indirectly, things that I've thought about or you know, ideas I've had and you know, has been directly used, and then sometimes it's kind of, you know, just kind of about, you know, people writing or talking about my life, or, you know, the entertainment industry, economy, eggers, you know, that's where they associate, you know, the E thing. Anyways, as I said, you know, the scores in football are extremely relevant. And as far as safety is concerned, when I went to Zeman, there was one time I volunteered to Mr. O, our gym teacher, Mr. Oatman, Mr. O. We called him Mr. O. And you have O Street. One time, you know, he initiated people for being safeties after school. The older kids got to help the younger kids across the street, and he'd wear like a safety crossing guard, like belt. It was almost, it looked like a 3-point harness that looks like a seat belt. He'd help the kids cross the street. Okay, and I did that one time, you know, for like a week. I volunteered to do that. As I said, there's the ways to figure out a lot of this stuff is, you know, Lincoln is just one big block of evidence. It's just, it's all around me, and it tells the whole story. You know how Wheel of Fortune with Pat Sajak, you know, the before and after, and the words and the phrases, are phrases. Another word for phrases is adages, and I talked about the foods in the pyramid, and the things that age are better with age is wine, cheese, and, you know, Kentucky bourbon or whiskey. Those are the only three things I could think of food-wise or beverage-wise that are supposed to get better with age. I can't, there might be other ones, but, you know, as I said, you know, wine is aged, and booze in XXX, you know, you'll see that on booze, the X is on the booze, and they are in wooden barrels to age. Cheese might be aged kind of similarly. I don't really know. I don't know how the Cracker Barrel got its name or whatever. But, you know, typically what you eat with wine is cheese. Okay, you know, so, you know, you have mouse traps and so forth. Tailgating, you know, you have at football games, and then if you tailgate another car, you ride their bumper, you know, right on their brake lights, basically. The third brake light was added to cars in the past 15 years or so. Same with ABS, analog brake system. That's a newer addition to cars in the past 15 years or so, and so are airbags. I know all this because Rob, you know, works on cars, and I was married to him, or I'm still legally married to him, or supposed to be. As I said, a lot of people are manipulating these, doing everything opposite of the law intentionally, because they wanted to go backwards with their reverse relationships. So they think they can do opposite of the laws. I don't know. As I said, they're crazy. And I can't fight through this wall of money. But they're doing everything opposite of the laws, everything against human rights laws, everything against my rights, all my constitutional rights, everything. All these laws they're breaking. When people are looking at people in the public, you can see they're getting, they think this is absolutely crazy. They think they're absolutely crazy for doing this. It's getting more and more apparent every day. People know what's going on with me and how terrified I am. I'm surrounded by all this money, and I don't know why. I know the fact that they made the fame, was part of the plan because it would initiate more revenue and monies with the fame, because there'd be more of everything, more business, and typical business hours are 8 to 5. That's part of the ending part of my social security number, 8526. And so, they've used these social security numbers, Robbins and 2539, but he was born before I was, and his starts out at a lower number than mine. A higher number. Mine's 504, 50, no, I'm getting full. Mine's 508. His is 506. And as you're born, all social securities, they go in order. And I'm not worried about my social security number because people already know it. And there's nothing they can do with it. And I'm poor anyway. So, there's so much protection on social security numbers nowadays. You can't really do anything with them. And all they're there for is if you get disabled or when you retire, right? It's for retirement. They have the game of life and so forth. My life's not a game, but they seem to think so. For their wallets. Wallets. Money, change, that I don't have, and they don't want me to have money because they've been so cruel to me that they don't want me to get out of my situation, evidently. And, I'm like a rat in a maze, but I'm not really a rat, I'm a human being. Or I'm like going through this corn maze around the time of Halloween. These people are crazy. It's just absurd. There's always going to be corruption, but the public is getting more and more scared by the minute because they know all I want to do is get out of my situation safely. I'm in pain. They keep abusing me. And what they're doing is they're manipulating with this whole PITS thing to initiate fear, and then try to make up some excuse later to butter people over with offering them money and that sort of thing. So they're like going through this. They are very good at what they do because they initiate fear in the people around me, and at the same time they try to smooth things over. When they panic, they initiate fear in some of the people around me. And so it's escalated more. It's like, that's the way it was supposed to be, I guess. I don't know. But this is how it's kind of worked, no communication with me, no real communication, verbal communication, kind of leaving me deserted on an island, playing Survivor Island, watching me suffer